Manus flat on the canvas. We are ready to rock and roll. Second round of action. There is a cut on Manus.
Yeah. Jesus.
Martial arts chat.
My man B-Hop got dropped out the ring last night. I need a little judo baby. I need me a little judo baby, and let's do it, Ron. Let's give me
I see you were filming this. You've got a face for radio.
I've got a face for radio.
That's nice.
Martial arts chat.
Martial arts.
Martial Arts Chat podcast is sponsored by A1 Fight Gear. A1 Fight Gear uses the latest cutting-edge boxing gloves for professional and amateur fighters, gym enthusiasts and kickboxers. Local and national gyms in the UK, do yourself a favour and check out a1fightgear.com. And if you're wanting to get into shape, get back into shape, then go to beastgear.co.uk. Use the coupon code MartialArtsChat to save 15% off your purchases. They've got core sliders, straps and barbell pads and complete strength and conditioning programs to suit your needs. We are also sponsored by Feel Supreme. FeelSupreme.co.uk offers CBD oil and natural nutrition. They will assist your progress in diet and lifestyle. Natural supplements and complementary services such as yoga, mind coaching and weight cutting programs. Finally, we are also sponsored by World of Martial Arts Television. WOMA.tv produces, finds, acquires, commissions and presents all you ever wanted to know about martial arts. Hello, my name's Chris Allen and this is the Martial Arts Chat podcast. Today I'm having the honour of being joined by someone I've watched for a long time. He's been on the UK scene for a long time now. We're looking at the last 5 years now, so you could almost call him a veteran. He is a former BAMMA welterweight champion and now currently on a tear in the Cage Warriors. It's Mr. Alec the Kid Lahore. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. And he's the Killer Kid now. The kid
oh, sorry. When did he evolve? How did he evolve? When did it all happen?
I think, it happened from, when did that be? It's been a long time now. I think since the first fight of Cage Warriors, the Killer Kid has been on, you know. Yeah. So I couldn't have stayed a kid for that long.
Who gave you the name change? Did you think, right, that's it, or were your coaches saying that's it, no more kid?
Yeah, no more kid now. You gotta add something to it. And they say killer because of my killer instinct. You know, our fights always finishes before before the end of the 3 or 5 rounds. You know, so we gotta use that the right way.
Yeah, that's it, man. I was going to say, you don't hang around, do you, usually?
That's it. So we want to just, you know, well, I know we like to use the word kill, but really it's obviously finish the opponent and don't have to go through the judges.
That's it, mate. You don't want to trust the judges. How many times have we seen it in all different organisations, you know? You don't want to get robbed at the last minute.
Yeah, well, I've got a fight where I think, you know, I got robbed properly, but we don't want to go into that.
Should we leave that one alone, shall we, yeah?
Alone. Everyone knows it.
Yeah, but you've had a pretty successful career, though. Like you, as I said, you managed to get 22 fights in a 5-year pro career. You know, that's pretty impressive, to be fair. You know, like, do you find that's quite that's quite important and your sort of advantage against other fighters, the experience?
But yeah, well, for me, it's, you know, if I could, I would have more than that. You know, it's just obviously the organizations I fight for have their rules and stuff like that. So, you know, sometimes I get held back a little bit. But I feel like, you know, before you hit the big stages like UFC, you want to get as much experience in the cage as you can, you know. So obviously, unless you're injured or anything like that, you got to take fights and keep on taking them no matter what happens, you know, if you win or lose. And that's always been my mindset, you know, to stay active and always show my skills and always trying to improve from my last or previous competition or fight.
That's it, man. Well, you fought 5 times last year in 2018. It's been a bit quieter for you this year, hasn't it? Only 2 fights in the first 6 months.
Yeah, like I said, you know, the organizations you fight for are the one that decides when you fight. So, you know, 2 fights this year, it's quiet. Obviously now I don't think it's not looking like I'm going to fight until maybe the end of the year again. But I'm hoping to get something in. But yeah, and obviously because of the amount of fight that I've had, now it's not about getting the fights in. I think I've got enough experience now. I've seen every type of opponents, UFC veterans, wrestlers, strikers, grapplers. So now it's about taking the right fights and the fights that count. The fight that will take me to the next.
Well, yeah, so you're not someone who takes an easy fight. So all someone has to do is look at your record, and it's purely legit. You've never taken a negative record fighter. You've always taken like the people at the top of their game, and also you're finishing them straight away. So it's good to see your career hasn't been padded at all. Like you can really say I have actually fought the best. And even in the tight losses I had, like Dalby was, he's a fantastic fighter. Brazier was split decision, things like that. And so you definitely can't hang your head in shame there. So is obviously what happened at Cage Warriors 106 with Dalby and Houston, that crazy outcome of a no contest. I know that was probably someone you wanted to look at next, didn't you? Maybe the winner of that if they didn't go to the UFC or something like that. So what do you reckon is going to happen now? It was a draw. So first of all, it was a draw. So what happens now? Are they both going to go and it leaves it vacant? What are you thinking?
Well, are you not aware? Like Dalby's signed to the UFC.
I did not. I was not aware of that. No. How the hell did I miss that?
Dalby re-signed for the UFC, so he'll be fighting for UFC Copenhagen. And yeah, so for me and my team, they don't want to take any other fight than the title fight. So, we'll have to wait and see what Cage Warriors says. Like I said, the organization decided. If it was up to me, I'll be fighting, like I said in the interview with you last time, in Liverpool for that title. But I don't think they will want to give me that, so I'll have to wait and see. And like I said, it's not about taking any fights now. It's about taking the right fights.
So what's more important?
With 22 fights, it's a lot of experience, There's guys in the UFC who haven't even have as much, experience, as many fights as myself,
No, man.
So yeah.
That's what stands out to me the most about you, Alex. That's why I followed you for so long. I said your legit record, 22 fights in a short amount of time, with multiple finishes in them. Like I think your finish rate is 9 finishes and 9 knockouts and 6 submissions. Like against top opposition, like people like Colin Fletcher. You've gone through Nathan Jones, Richard Keeley. That's actually something I want to ask you. I'm not bitching about Keeley at the moment, but you were talking about how you've had a lot of fights. Well, Keeley, you defeated him, obviously. Fantastic fight, by the way, on that one. But that was a great knee bar as well. He wasn't happy about that whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, he's come back after 2 years, had one fight, and he's fighting on the Dublin Bellator card against MVP. So what are you thinking looking at that?
Well, I think, he does his job right, man. Look at him. He's doing the opposite of me. He's not fighting as much, but he's taking the right fights and he's taking the big fights. So... there's nothing I can say about that, man. It's just that, it's good for him.
Yeah, fair enough.
I know he's not gonna win against MVP. That would be like crazy if he does, but it's good. He gets him up there. People can hate him, all of him. It's like, it doesn't matter for him. He's doing what he wants to do, and he's entertaining. He entertains the Irish fans. He's a showman. And I don't know about his fighting, but I know that when it comes to press conference and getting the fans involved, he's got that. So
they've got the McGregor bug, as they say.
Yeah, because actually me and him went viral on social media when we had our little face off. My phone went crazy, and that was the first time I went viral, man. And I was like, what was going on? Just a little video of me and him like facing off outside the A3 Arena. Posted that on my Facebook, and it went up to like 70,000 views in a space of like a few hours. I was like, what?
Oh man! Oh, tell us about tell us about it. How did that come around? How did you bump into him? How did he say, let's stand for this picture and do this? How did that come around?
No, that was obviously BAMMA organized the face-off to do the promo
Yeah.
of the fight. Obviously, I was defending my title, and obviously he was the challenger in his country.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously I had people around that was doing recording for me and stuff like that. So we just took a little short clip of us facing off, but then there was a little altercation during that time, and then obviously the cameraman recorded it at the right time, and then when I posted it, it just went off.
Mate, any exposure is good exposure, mate, as they say. And McGregor knows how to get good exposure, as you say. You know.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, man. Hey, by the way, what I wanted to ask you, because I've watched your fight with Richard Keeley a couple of times, what were you going over? When Mark Goddard had your arm, was about to raise you up, you ran off and you pulled him like a dog on a lead, you know, like sort of like, and Mark Goddard had to pull you right back in. He's like, what were you going to do? What was going on there?
What do you mean?
So basically, when Mark Goddard was at the end of the fight, you beat Richard Keeley, and as he was going to raise your arm, you darted off like to the side of the cage, like as if you're trying to talk to someone or bring someone in the cage. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. No, there was a friend of mine who was in a crowd who travelled all the way from the UK, and I promised him that I would let him come in the cage if I win. So I was trying to get him in, but then after that I saw that obviously the security was kind of going crazy at him. They was nearly like beating him up. So I was like, "He's with me, like leave him." But obviously I had to let it go because obviously I was about to just speak on the mic. But yeah, you gotta stick up for your people, man.
That's it, man. It's just how you nearly pulled Mark Goddard over. That just what made me laugh.
I didn't want my friend to get beaten up by the security because of me, you know.
Oh, gonna see another Khabib moment. You jumping off over the cage and diving into the crowd, protecting your man.
No, not gonna do a Khabib.
Fair enough, man. Hey, do you know what? One thing I love, I know you've been asked a lot, and I asked you on the evening. What I want everyone to know is that a lot of people don't know in the world that MMA is illegal in France, as we all know. Okay, and it's now becoming legal. So, first of all, how important is that to yourself? And I know you've grown up in London and things like that, but to yourself and the other Frenchmen that would love to fight in their own country.
That is like a dream come true. You know, it's so important. In France there is so many good talent, but obviously it's hard for them to kind of, to go out there and show their skills. But now, from 2020, trust me, there's going to be a lot of talent coming out of France, you know. Fighting is something we do in a regular. It's like everyone is into Muay Thai, everyone is into boxing, like it's something that, the French people always love, So it's something very big, and like I said, a lot of people are gonna realize that once it's all legalized, and like I said, a lot of talents are gonna come out of there. And also for me, it means that I can finally go and fight in France, where I'm from, with all my family, all my friends, all my fans, everyone. It'll be just crazy, man. Like I can't wait for that day. It'll be crazy. It'll be mad.
Yeah, man, like literally, like walking out into your hometown. Imagine the roar. None of us have heard the roar of a French MMA crowd. It'd be a first off for us all,
Yeah, it'd be crazy, man. Well, people have seen it, man. You've seen my fights. Like if you look at, for example, my fights against on UC MMA, the title fight against Josh Collins. I brought about 25 people from France, flew over, and the atmosphere was crazy, man. The Terry Brazier fight, same thing. There's a lot of people who flew over. It was a crazy atmosphere. They always come up whenever they can come up. My other title fight at Fight Star, I had the whole place going mad. So they kind of already, even though there wasn't many of them, they was making a noise, So I can't imagine like having the full, the full thing, the full capacity, the full amount of people. I've got so many, young cousins, young fans who can't travel because maybe they're too young, maybe not maybe they're too young and they need their parents to pay for them to travel. But if it's in France, they can just come. You know, like I'm not sure if you've seen one of my. There's a video I've made. It's like a little interview explaining, showing where I grew up and about myself. It was made with a company called Move, and I show like I have like a little. Me and my friends have like a little community kind of after school club where we kind of do after school like homework for kids. We help them out and stuff like that. So a lot of them know about myself and follow me from close, but it's just that they can't make it. But obviously them being able to be there physically in their country would be crazy, man. The amount of people that's going to be there is just mad.
Yeah, man. And if it's anything like the football fans inside the PSG Paris Saint-Germain stadium, you know what I mean? And that's going to be loud.
Yeah,
You know, the French fans.
That's what's going to happen. That's the kind of atmosphere it's going to be like crazy like that.
Oh,
you
man.
know, proper emotional, like proper in, you know.
And you've held, and as you said, you've held quite a few titles. You know, imagine and I'm sure for you, a dream is to hold, say, a UFC title in France.
Yeah, that'd be crazy, man. Wow.
Yeah, man, that's the dream.
Paris is like, yeah, crazy. That's the dream, like you said.
That's it, man. Do you reckon you could fill up PSG Stadium?
Parc des Princes, maybe. Why not? With the help of few of my other French guys, we could do it, man. I think we could. Like,
yeah, mate.
With the good promotion, good media promotion, few other big French fighters on the card. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, mate.
That could be done with UFC. With UFC, that's easily done. With Cage Warriors, it could be done, but maybe we'll need a little bit of support from a few other French fighters. But it could easily be done, man.
Yeah,
easily.
Man. Wasn't a bad night for the French fighters, though, was it, at Cage Warriors? You know, Samir, what a great win for him, winning the title.
Yeah, man. Well, when they announced that he was gonna fight for that title, I knew he was gonna win, man. He's on the next level, man. That guy is like always in the gym, proper athletic. He's like proper. He's always working. He's always working, always putting work. You know, because I was back in France for the Terry Brazier fight. I was there training with them at factory. And yeah, his work ethic is like proper good, man.
Yeah, man, I had a chat with him after the fight as well, and when I was standing next to him, obviously I'm 6'4", and I still looked at him and thought this guy could still hurt me badly. Do you know what I mean? And that belt, and he looked good with the belt and everything. No, and it was good to chat with him, and very friendly guy. Did you know him before? Obviously you knew him before. Did you train with him before?
Yeah, that's what I just said. So,
sorry, man.
Yeah, so before, like when I was fighting for BAMMA, I was in France a few times to prepare for a few fights, and I trained them. Yeah,
that's what it was actually. But sorry, Carol.
Obviously, he's a bit smaller than me, but like I said, I saw the work ethic on his side and how hard he trains and how good he is.
I bet he's strong on the floor. I bet he's a strong guy as well, core strength wise, in wrestling. I can imagine he's quite a strong, solid bloke on the floor as well. So,
yeah, well, all round.
Yeah, man, that knockout was beautiful as well, man. Absolutely beautiful. No one expected that, and that was a good night for a lot of fighters at Cage Warriors. There's a lot of fighters that thought they wouldn't win that night, you know. So, no, it was a fantastic night, and I'd say good night for the French guys as well, man. Most importantly.
Yeah, it was a massive night for us, man.
With the ban initially in France, were you able? Don't sound like I'm asking a stupid question, but were you able to train MMA in the country at all, or did you have to learn individual aspects of the sport?
Yeah, you can train MMA. You can train MMA. There's few gyms out there. There's loads of gyms out there. They just can't compete. They just fight. So the training is allowed, but was allowed. Is allowed. And It's just a competition that was not allowed. But now, obviously, it's going into the right direction. I think from the 1st of January, it'll be finally legalized. And I think the UFC are already on it. I've seen a few articles of them talking about they already want to do a few shows in Paris. So yeah, be good.
Yeah, man, you won't just be getting French fans going. We'll all be travelling over all around Europe as well, filling up stadiums in France. Like that's one place I definitely haven't been to see an event, you know. And to be able just to literally get on the Eurostar, nip over and drive down, that'd be fantastic, you know.
Man. I tell people all the time, like I go France often, you know. It takes me quick. It's quicker to go to Paris than to go to Liverpool.
Yeah, it is. It is. No, you're right.
So, you know, it's that easy, especially from where I am. I'm in Croydon, so I'm like, obviously deep south. It's literally an hour to Folkestone and then 2 hours and a half to Paris. So it's an easy drive.
Yeah, man, just go have lunch in Paris and come home. That's the thing what people forget about in England. Like we might be this cold, wet country, you know, well not recently, but we can just jump on a train and go to France. We can just quickly go 45 minutes to Holland or Germany.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not that far. It's just having the time and the money to do it. That's all really, but it's not far.
Yeah, but it must be great for people like yourself, like coming up through the UK ranks and things like that. Like people like Bellator's doing a huge European series, like tour of the Europe at the moment, like with title fights of Gegard and Misasi. It must be encouraging to know that organisations are actually focusing on Europe, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's very good.
Yeah, man. Is that something you consider? Maybe like if Bellator ever gave you a call, is that something you consider? Or to be honest with you, in my opinion, Cage Warriors has such good ties with UFC Fight Pass. Would you feel your path would be easier to UFC through Cage Warriors? Not easier as in fight wise. I mean easier as in like contacts.
If Bellator was what I wanted to do, I would have been there already.
Okay.
You know, I've already had 2 fights at Bellator, and you know, like I say all the time, my goal is to be with the best, and everyone knows what the best is, UFC. So that's where I'm going. That's that simple, you know. I see what they're doing. I see it's good, but I want to be with the best, and that's where I'm going. That's why I went to Cage Warriors and didn't choose to go to Bellator when they were taking everyone from BAMMA.
Yeah, man, and your CEO Graham Boylan as well. When we spoke to him after the fights that night, I asked him the question like, do you mind losing fighters to UFC? And he's like, well, I don't lose them. You know, I'm happy to see my fighters progress and go on to something as good as UFC. So again, you've got that backing from your CEO. He's not going to hold you back.
Yeah. No, never. They work hand on hand. They work together with the UFC. So, like I said, it's a good thing.
Yeah, mate, it's fantastic. So, as we said, we're talking about what I love to find out when I chat to you guys. We obviously talk about fights and things like that, but I also like to find out who you are. You know, we know you're not just fighters out there. We know you have normal lives as well. So, where did it all start for you? What were you doing before MMA? Were you doing any boxing or Muay Thai, anything like that?
No, I did maybe a month of boxing, something like that. But then due to financial problems and obviously studying, I had to stop and just went into studying and working. And after that I just started straight from MMA. My background is just MMA, to be fair. I did few months in boxing, like I said, but it wasn't really anything that I can say that was my background. You know, I'm still learning a lot in my stand-up, but I haven't studied stand-up as much as boxing as much as I studied MMA. You know, so so my background is just. It's just
MMA. Solid. Yeah, it was good. At least you came into MMA and learned it as a whole. You know what I mean? You just came in and learned it all as one thing. It's the old saying, you might be a black belt in jiu-jitsu with a gi on, but in MMA you're a white belt. And obviously you probably know that. I'm sure you've rolled with high-level jiu-jitsu guys and tapped them out.
Yeah, well, in no-gi it's totally different, you know.
Exactly,
They
man.
don't have the grip, they don't have all that, so they struggle a little bit more, you know. The belt don't mean nothing really when you go to no-gi, especially when you add on striking. It's a
Yeah,
totally ball game, different ball game. So yeah,
it's
like for example, I fought Colin Fletcher, and I was a white belt, I think, and I tapped him out. So it don't mean nothing. Guys like John Jones, for example, they're white. He's a white belt. I think he's a blue belt now, if I'm not wrong. I'm not sure. I think either a white or a blue belt, and he's tapping out guys. You know, so it don't mean nothing in MMA.
exactly. There's a difference between someone on your back trying to get a rear naked choke while punching you in the face and just hand fighting. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't understand that when they watch the ground game as well. And they hear like, oh yeah, he's won like 5 gold medals and blah 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 in jiu-jitsu. Like, don't get me wrong, that's an incredible achievement. But when you get in a cage and start getting punched in the face and you're all bloodied and sweated up, it's a different story, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
like you gotta know how to use jiu-jitsu for MMA. Then that's when it gets. That's when it gets. Like guys like Damien Maya.
yeah,
They're the
man.
guys that you gotta watch out for. They use jiu-jitsu the right way for MMA. And yeah,
Yeah,
you
mine's
can't put
scary.
guard. You can't put guard in MMA. Don't put guard in MMA, please.
Yeah, man. I always thought that's like the bravest thing anyone can do in MMA. Is pull guards. So you're just going to pull someone on top of you who's going to land elbows on you and just basically keep hitting you.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah, no, not much. No, I think I think you're right. Just just take them down. Don't pull them to yourself. Work towards it. So why MMA? Why did you change from boxing to MMA? What did you watch it on TV? Did you see one of your mates doing it?
No, because obviously, well, where I'm from, back in France, I've always been like obviously into fighting. I used to watch UFC, like the Chuck Liddell
Yeah, man.
time and stuff like that. They used to come on the French channels like late nights, and yeah, I used to really be really be keen onto that. Jean-Claude Van Damme movies and
Yeah, man.
Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, all of that stuff. And yeah, and the first thing that got me is when I went into my first MMA class. Um, it was like a shoot boxing class where you could box with takedowns, and then once the fight goes onto the floor, you carry on. And obviously, where I'm from, back in France, it's a little bit it's quite tough. So I've always been in fights, and in fights where I'm from, once the fight goes on the floor, the person on top normally wins. So coming back to when I was obviously in the gym training for my first time, um, it like it shocked me when obviously I took someone down, and me being on top wasn't never meant that I was in control. And I was like, I'm on top, but I can't actually do nothing, and I'm getting caught with submissions, I'm getting caught with arm bars, I'm getting caught with triangles, I'm getting reversed like it's nothing. And I was like, no, I can't live in this world and not know this, and start coming, and I start coming back and coming back, and I just fell in love with it, man. And I was like, obviously the Muay Thai is my favorite. I've always loved like the kicking, the elbowing,
Yeah, man.
the kneeing and stuff like that, the high kicks, and so I've always liked the kickboxing, anyways. And like adding on the grappling to it meant like for 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 you to be in trouble in the fight after knowing all of this, it takes a lot, It would take a lot. So yeah, I was very, very intrigued to learn it, and I'm still very intrigued to learn. I'm still learning, and yeah, it's just I just fell in love with it, man. It's just lovely. And I
That's
just
it.
and the same way I tell people the same thing. I said, come, you got to learn the grappling, you got to learn the whole thing. It's not just about punching someone in the face. There's so much more to it, man.
And I
And
mean,
yeah, I've got a few people to come and start it and try it. And same thing, man. Some of the guys that I teach, they're just loving it now. Even some people call me like on the day before, thinking it's today, like the session is today. I'm like, yeah, like what time is it again today? No, it's tomorrow. It's not today. So like they're so eager to come and learn. It's like, wow, I'm not the only one who felt that way. You know, a lot of people feel the same.
Yeah, man. It's nice to give something back as well. You know, it's quite
Yeah,
self-rewarding. You've been taught a lot.
that's my main thing, man. I want to give so much back, man. Put in so much work, and like a lot of people do it for the money, man. And I don't even do it for the money. I do it for the love of it, man. I like to share the knowledge. I like to show people, what they can do. And it's also a good thing, like for people mentally. And a lot of people said to me, oh, since I started training with you, man, like my mental is so much better, man. Before training, I was like depressed and I felt down. And since I started training, I feel so much better. So it helps. I like to help people, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as you said, like, I'm from a similar place you're from. There was not too many opportunities, in some of the Croydon areas. It's a
Yeah.
big place, and it must be nice, as you know, to like when you were that kid one time. I'm sure you wish you had someone to come and teach you MMA at like the age of
Trust
5,
me,
6 years
man.
old.
That's my thing. Like, it's nothing for the youth, man. There's few things now at the moment, but it's not enough. Obviously, like Fred and South London, it's crazy at the moment with all this stabbing and all the kids out there with so much energy and
Yeah, man.
trying to be something they're actually not, when they could be, something else, something better. And yeah, so it's it's sad, but we've got to do something about it. And
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, me giving back is what I want to do, man.
That's it.
I want to do.
Yeah, it's self-rewarding, and also, you're just getting a few more kids off the streets, potentially, I don't want to say,
Exactly.
I don't want people to think like where we live, people are going out and just shooting and stabbing each other, it's not that bad, you know what I mean, like, I'm
Yeah,
coming down the road, it's not like
no,
ghetto or anything, but it does happen, unfortunately, it's just the way the world's going, mate, unfortunately, everyone's a hard man when they've got a weapon, as they say, and unfortunately, it's being pushed onto younger kids, and it's a bit of a worry, and as you said, do you feel it's very important nowadays that parents understand that MMA, yeah, fine, it is a contact sport, but it is actually a very disciplined sport as well, because they teach you when to use your skills and how to technically live your life lessons as well.
yeah, yeah. It's mostly. I feel like it's mostly the discipline that would help. Like obviously, you got to give them something to look at. Like for example, do competitions, get them ready for competitions, and obviously give them few things for them to like trophies and rewards. So they won't have time to be thinking of being out in the street if they have a competition coming up and they got to train for that competition, and then that competition might take them into being a professional athlete, and so their mind will be focusing on other things. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do.
No, it's important. It's
Um,
important people like you do that, mate.
yeah,
And do you know what? It's good because I know I've said it before. Like you've got fighters nowadays in UFC who are, making MMA a bit more like known. Like I always say, Conor McGregor. Okay, not everyone loves him, but at the end of the day, he made MMA bigger in Ireland and UK. Made more people watch it.
yeah, of
Things like
course.
that. It was
Not just in Ireland, in the UK, he made
no,
it
of
in
course not.
like the whole world, man. Like people know about MMA now because of McGregor, because obviously he done the boxing fight as well with
Mayweather.
Mayweather,
Yeah,
which that obviously that took some of the boxing fans to look into McGregor more, and obviously looking into McGregor more means looking into the UFC more, looking into MMA more.
exactly.
So yeah, it's a good thing what he did. And yeah, hopefully people stick to it and start understanding more and learning more about MMA.
Yeah, because a lot of kids will know, because people who don't know what UFC was, a lot of kids for the first time will be hearing about UFC through Conor McGregor. They say, "Oh, look at this guy! Look how much money he's made. Look how many fans he's got. Look all the cheers he gets." And that might just be extra motivation to join people like yourself in gyms and what I mean, think, "Do you know what? I want to do that, not stand in the rain in England on the street corners." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, mate. See, when I was younger, I did judo and a bit of judo and things like that. And to be fair, nowadays to get my energy out, I just go down I go down to Selhurst Park, and not in a violent way. Just I sit next to the Homesdale Fanatics. I just jump up and down with them guys and the drums, and that's my release now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great. That's right next to my house as well, man. Every time there's a football game, it's crazy around my area, man. Like
Yeah,
fans walking everywhere, crazy traffic. It's good atmosphere, man.
yeah, and you can probably say as well, anyone listening out there, we're not like a big football hooligan team, are we? You don't see any trouble, rarely see any trouble, don't you, with the football fans?
Well, I think I've never seen trouble, to be fair, since I've lived where I lived about 7 years now, and trust me, I haven't seen a fight
So,
out there. Literally, obviously, there's maybe a few arguments, but nothing crazy.
yeah, it's just all handbags, mate. You know,
Yeah,
that's what it is. You know, and they get over it in the end. They're all drinking in
yeah,
the pub together after the match. You know, they're all giving each other shit during the match, and then afterwards they're all drinking together. It's all
yeah,
love, really. It's like fighters, really, isn't it? You have a fight, and at the end of it, you
yeah.
shake hands.
Exactly, exactly. As long as nothing gets, personal after the fight, and if obviously someone said something that was a bit out of the line, they obviously apologize after the fight and say that, obviously explain themselves that it was just motivation, blah blah blah, and nothing gets taken too seriously. Then yeah, that's what happens. But yeah, nowadays, obviously with the Conor McGregor effect, everyone's trying to push the fight a little bit more by uh, by doing a little bit extra, which is good and bad at the same time. But if you understand the game, you shouldn't take it personally.
No,
So
not at
yeah,
all. No, you shouldn't take it personally, at all. It's all about the money making side of things. Like, you know, when McGregor was fighting Mayweather, I had this theory in my head that after every press conference they went out the back and shook hands and just laughed about how much money they were going to make. You
yeah,
know?
yeah, definitely. Definitely, especially after the fight. Especially after the fight.
Yeah, and now
Yeah,
he's
that was
selling
a good
like
fight.
millions and millions of bottles of bloody whiskey now as well, just to make even more money.
Yeah, man, he's doing loads. He's doing loads, man. Doing
But
so much.
be fair to the geezer though, he actually built like loads of homes for homeless people, I think, or something like that, with some of his money.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So
Nice, that's
fair.
good.
Yeah, I was on like I read an article and it came out. I was like, oh, fair play to you, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I'll tell you what.
important, man.
No, it is important, mate. It is really important, and the world needs people like that, and yourself, and like yourself. You're such an exciting fighter. I can't believe the UFC or hasn't given you a call yet. You know, you're winning.
Yeah,
I
and
can't believe
another
it. You're
thing as
winning so
well,
many
I'm like,
fights.
I'm like the only, well, not the only, but like the kind of, well, I'll say the only, or maybe there's only few of us from where I'm originally from who fights, like the Ivory Coast. There's no fighter from the Ivory Coast in the UFC. So me getting in there will bring a whole other country into the UFC as well, watching. And obviously I've got few fans out there who watch it, who knows about myself, and they have boxing gym there, they have MMA gyms out there, so they know about the sport and they know about myself. So it will be another motivation for young kids out there in Africa where they could be dreaming of becoming a professional athlete through MMA.
Yeah, man.
And that's
100%.
that's another thing that I would love to work towards. Go up there to Africa, maybe open few gyms and work with the youth, man. There's
No,
loads of
definitely.
orphans. There's loads of orphans in my country. So loads of good kids, good talents, and we got to do something for them.
Give them something to look forward to. Give them some sort of sense of achievement, like you are the kids in the UK.
Yeah.
And do you know what I like? There's definitely a lot of talent in Africa, and definitely a lot coming from Africa. And as you said, a lot of people are going unnoticed, completely. And you could go out there and find, you could find 10, 20 world champions out there, which just haven't been noticed at the moment. Because
Exactly.
look at other sports. You know, some of the best, well, probably the best athletes in the world are from Africa, like, or African background. So look at football, Premier League, things like that. You know, you got some of the
Look at the look at the World Cup.
yeah, okay.
People say Africa won the World Cup, not France. So yeah, you can see that from that. Obviously, most of those guys were born in France, but obviously they're all originally from African. Well, most of them are originally from an African country, you know,
Exactly.
and got obviously their parents moving into France. Got the opportunity to show their skills on a bigger scale and actually make it as professional athlete, and now win the World Cup for France. So yeah, it's a good way of seeing the potential of Africa when you look at the football team of France.
Exactly, and for such a large continent as well, you know,
Yeah,
there's got to be, like, if you're getting fighters out of Europe, and Africa's so much bigger than Europe, you know, they're definitely there, and they need scouts to go over there, open up gyms like yourself, you know, and obviously, if not just to find fighters, but obviously just give them something to do, give them some sort of, like, you know, something to look forward to. I guess is the most important thing. Like, I've been to Africa before. My father lives in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And
Tanzania. Okay.
Tanzania, yeah, and I've been out there before, and you know, I encourage everyone to go to Africa at least once, you know, because it makes you actually realise in life what you really have and what some people really
Yeah,
don't have.
man.
You know what
And
I
I
mean?
say this
And
all the time, man. You
how
know, I say
happy
this
the
all
African
the time.
people still are. They don't complain still. They're still happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I loved about Tanzania, man.
Mm. Like like obviously I've been Ivory Coast from when I was a child, you know. Well, I haven't been since 2002, but I've been 5 times since I was a child. So I kind of I remember most of the times that I went, and it was like, you know, made me so humble, you know. And you know, until today, you know, I always tell my people, like especially when I go out to eat and stuff like that, and some of my friends don't finish their play, and you know, like just silly stuff like that. And I'm just like, I always remind them. I said, you know, there's people that can't even, that don't even have the chance to have that much food, and you're just wasting that, you know. So it's just, obviously I say that to my people, to my friend, but anyone else, they do whatever they want. But to my close friends, when I go out and eat with them, I try and remind them sometimes.
Yeah, man, don't over order. You know, there's some people out there
Yeah,
don't have it.
exactly.
Like one thing I'll give my father. He's great. My father's from the UK, but when he went over there to live there and work. To be fair to him, in his lunch breaks, you know, he used to go like round, because he was quite high up in the company there. But he used to go around all some, like, the little building sites and stuff where they were working, and just bring bottles of water, loaves of bread. Do you know what I mean? Because he was just that, he just
Yeah,
appreciated, because when he moved there, he couldn't believe how welcomed he was, like this Englishman coming over with tattoos and all that sort of stuff, you know. And yeah, so Africa's his second home now, and it's mine as well. Like, he still lives there, and man, I encourage anyone to go there. The people are lovely. Don't listen to all the stories you hear about South Africa. It's a completely different place, you know. I'm
yeah.
sure you'd agree,
It's just,
wouldn't you?
yeah, it's different when you're out there. Obviously, that's what the media is for, isn't it? To just make everything bigger than what it actually is. What it
Exactly.
actually is, and you know, it's sad, but it's how it works, man. That's how they make their money and stuff like that. So you just gotta be real with yourself,
No, that's it, mate. No,
and
that's
and and, and travel and go and see it for yourself when you can. And yeah, that's it really.
no, 100%,
Yeah.
man. I'll tell you what, though. What, well, you know, we were talking earlier about, you know, living in France and training. When did you actually move to the UK?
2005, summer
2005. Yeah.
2005. So I think it was end of July, beginning of August.
So how did you find coming over? Like, how did you find adapting to, like, the UK way and everything like that?
Yeah, it was very difficult because obviously me coming to the UK, I couldn't speak a word of English, so I had to learn the language first. Um, you know, made new friends. It was quite difficult, man. But it's something that I would do again and again and again and again, man. Obviously now I'm happy. I can speak the number one language in the world, and I've built what I've built now, with my fighting. I found MMA when I was in here in the UK. So yeah, I'm very grateful. Obviously, all thanks to my mother, because she's the one that decided to send me over. And yeah, it's something that I would, I don't regret at all.
No, man. You say your mother sent you over. Did you come over here? How old were you when you came over, man? Me asking. Did you come alone?
15, yeah. So I was 15 years old, and my mom sent me to I had a cousin who lived here with his wife and his kids, and she sent me here to stay with them.
That's good, man. What was that? Was the main reason for send you here for like education reasons, sort of thing?
Yeah, it was education and changing my life around, man. I was a naughty boy, man. I was a naughty kid when I was young, my dad wasn't around, so my mom was always the one looking after me. Obviously, she had to work to pay for everything else, so I was most of the time alone in the house. So, you know what happens when a child is left out of control in a ghetto area. So you get up to no good. So yeah, mum decided to send me somewhere where I didn't know no one and where I had to start again.
Yeah, man. And I bet you
So
thank her every day for that, I'm sure.
yeah, every day I thank her, man. Every day I thank her, and
I,
yeah.
I bet you thought 20 years ago you wouldn't, well, not even that, 15 odd years ago, you wouldn't be holding world titles as a professional MMA fighter, and
Yeah,
fighting in
like
Cage
fight.
Warriors on their biggest card ever, and
Yeah, I didn't even think of MMA like that. It's it's like better than what I dreamed of.
yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, mate. Well, what a dream, mate. It's what a story as well. To be honest with you, you could write a book really. From all the way coming from France. Originally family from Ivory Coast. You come from France, the UK, and so you came in 2005. So within what 14 years, you're only
Yeah,
15 when you came. You won world titles. You're fighting on Cage Warriors' biggest card. You beat a tough fighter in Aaron Khalid. Like life could be worse, couldn't it? To be fair.
yeah, could be. Can always be worse.
Can always be. That's it, man. That's it. So I'll tell you what. Let's talk about your last fight just a little bit, just quickly. What I loved about your last fight was no one.
And it's,
We lost connection there. Oh, hello. Can you hear me, mate?
hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry, it cut off there for a sec. So I'll start again. I was just saying on your what I loved about your last fight, by the way, against Aaron Khalid is everyone in the press room was thinking like, this isn't going to go to the floor. It's going to be a stand-up war, all this sort of stuff. Then before we know it, it's just a chess match on the floor, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, what did you guys think that it was gonna be a war with a stand up?
No, we were thinking right. We thought it's going to be a stand-up war here. We were all thinking round one, maybe round things like that. And then when we saw like the reversals and things on the ground, we were like, well, it was still just as exciting. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no, man. It's like obviously I knew that they would not, that Aaron Khalid wouldn't want to, stand with me, man. It's like it's a different level, man. It's a different level of striking. So we was ready. I knew that he was gonna shoot for that takedown. Knew that the fight was gonna be on the ground, and I'm happy to go to the ground. I'm happy to go to the ground, and like some people like to just stick to one thing. So, for example, if the fight goes to the ground and your game plan is to stand up, you're not gonna fight the guy on the ground. You're gonna trying to get back up and then stand up and fight. When I'm more like wherever the fight goes, I'm gonna be ready and trying to finish you wherever the fight goes, and that's how I work, man.
There were so many great different submissions being applied, all modified submissions. It was fantastic trying to listen to the commentators decide what they were, to be honest with you.
Yeah. He was like, what is that? Oh my God, is he gonna pass that?
Did you see what the official result was?
Huh?
Did you see the official result? They called it a modified guillotine in the end. It was more of a modified Darce choke, but yeah.
Yeah.
Or north-south, I don't know. What do you think? What would you say you finished that with?
I think it's it's a modified guillotine. It's a reverse guillotine. So it's the same position as the guillotine, but it's upside down.
Okay, no problem.
If you understand. So like, you see how the same way as the same position that you would have the person on your obviously you being on their back and cross your arms to finish the choke is the same thing, but from obviously being on above them.
Could they still go unconscious like that, or is it just a very painful move?
Yeah, if obviously if you keep it there, they could go unconscious, and it's very painful as well because it's blocking the artery on the neck.
So what do you think was different then? Because I know both of you were putting in submissions and getting out your both submission defenses were great. What did you do differently to get the final one on? Because I know you tried that a couple of times.
Because the adjustment, I adjusted because when I trying to finish it the first time, my body was in the wrong position. And if you look in the second time, I kind of put him onto his side, and he falls into the trap, and then gives me his side even more. So when he goes onto the side more, that's when I kind of figure four my hand properly, and then lean over him, and then that was it, man. There's no way out from that one. Once like I'm fully locked on like that, I could have stayed there for like till the round finishes, and he would have passed out. He had to tap, and it's very, very painful and very uncomfortable because I'm pushing my chest onto the back of his head, and also squeezing his neck. It's like it's crazy. It's crazy tight, man. There's no way out of that one.
Yeah, and it'd be hard to breathe as well. And he was obviously it was further through. It was in the the end of the round
Second
two,
round.
so everyone was getting a little. I'm not saying you were, but he looked obviously a little bit tired from all the groundwork that you've been putting on him. And the ground and pound, let's not forget as well. But what I love is when I watch your stand-up, when I watch you stand, sometimes, to be honest with you, remind me a little bit of Leon Edwards with the way you are. You're so, like, calm and controlled, and you're just waiting for that perfect counter shot, which you, don't get me wrong, land quite often. And is that your sort of style? You're a bit of a counter fighter sort of thing, as obviously we've seen. Is that what you like to do with your stand-up? Because that's someone who you remind me of quite a lot.
I wouldn't say counter striker, but I like to kind of take my time and see what they give me,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's more.
Very
I like
calm.
to stay loose. I like to stay loose and calm, and then that's my thing when I'm striking. But obviously, everyone. I've got so much fights that it's so easy to know that now. But the question is, can you do anything about it when you're in front of me in the cage? Not really.
Yeah, man, I love it. That's it, mate. You're right. And I'll tell you and personally to yourself as well, after coming off tough loss, I say, against Dalby, it was great. It's still great to watch. It took him 4 rounds still, and he's in the UFC now, for example. Do you know what I mean? For God's sake. It must feel nice though. You came off that, but then you came back relatively quite quickly against another top opponent. That must be great thing. Get back in there straight when you finished him. So you must be, as you said, deservedly of the title shot now. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man. Aaron Khalid was supposed to be the next guy to go for the title. So me finishing him gives me the opportunity to fight for the title. Now the Derby is gone to the UFC. There's either an interim title there, or there's a main title against Houston. So if Houston doesn't go to the UFC, which I think it doesn't look like he's going in there, but if he does, he does. But that's still the same,
I'm sure he broke his hand, didn't he, as well, quite badly, I think. Just an X-ray came out. Yeah, I think he hurt himself. I saw he released an X-ray on Twitter or something. I'm sure they did. And he had a busted up hand, like broken.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
I don't know about that one.
It's a hard one, man.
I think that interim belt. I'm thinking the interim belt's going to come first. I'm thinking at the moment. If the thing is, that's good. If that'll get you in there quicker and guarantee you that number one spot.
Yeah, you never know though. You never know. Like, I'm still open for the UFC myself.
Oh, of course.
It's like, there've been few. Can't say a lot, but
of course.
You never know. You never know.
No,
Never
man.
know what can happen. So,
Dana
like,
White loves a fighter who comes to
I've
fight.
got, I've got, I've had so many fights. So, to be honest, any fight I take on Cage Warriors it's not really a step back, but it's more of just a fight to take a fight. Obviously, getting the title is good, but I think it's time for me to go to that next level, man.
No, and I agree because as we said, in the UFC's eyes, someone who's 18-4 looks good anyway. Do you know what I mean on their cards? You know, Bruce Buffer calling out 18-4, legit 18-4 as well, because we know a lot of people with their records and they aren't that legit, or as experienced as you as well. You know what I mean? So and Dana White loves a fighter who comes to fight. Like look, he's keeping some fighters get cut after 2 losses, you know, because they're boring fighters. For example, that's his words. But some fighters like Ross Pearson, I think, or Dan Hardy had 4 fights and lost, and still came back for a 5th because Dana White says they come to fight, they come to have it. You know, they're not going to just step back and back off all the time. And is that what you think is going to help push you into that quicker?
Yeah, well, I think so. I think it will help. You know, well, like I say, I always come to fight, man. It's just that every time I fight people, they don't want to fight. They just want to hold me down, and and trying to lose sometimes and win on point. And this is why it's important for me that my grappling game is on point and my wrestling game is on point. So they can't take me down no more. Or if they do, they'll fall into a submission, or I'll get back up easily, you know. So that's
Yeah,
what
man.
we've been working on, working on the wrestling hard.
Because over in the States,
in the States, the wrestling, not so much of the grappling, but the wrestling is something that they're quite good at.
yeah, when we were playing football as kids, they were doing wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. And like collegiate wrestling is like multi-million-dollar sport. Like college wrestling, it's not even, you know what I mean, kids and stuff still. So just goes to show, mate, they love it over there. But at the end of the day, as you said, there's wrestling, and then there's wrestling while being elbowed in the face and punched in the head.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, man. I tell you what, though, do you have anyone particular you train with at your gym, like for your jiu-jitsu, your stand-up, things like that? Or do you all just train, or you all just well-rounded as each other?
Yeah, well, it's a bit of everything, man.
Cool.
When it comes to striking, yeah, we all just like my team is quite small at the moment. You know, we're keeping it quite small. Obviously, there's not a lot of us in the South London.
Yeah.
That's available at the level that I am. So it's mostly a lot of drilling that I do, or I get a few kickboxers in from a local kickboxing gym. So that's about it, really.
Yeah, man. Well, no disrespect to people you train with, but if this is the sort of level if it's the sort of level you're fighting at with these guys, man, these guys have been obviously doing a fantastic job with you. They must be incredible as well.
Yeah, they're good, man. They're good. Obviously they have to because obviously they're not used to the long round, the 5 minutes round and stuff like that. So it's a bit like I do a lot of like a Shark Tank kind of thing, where someone does 3 minutes and then someone else comes in for another 2. So it's good. It's good for me and it's good for them.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Fantastic. That's what you need, mate. Sometimes, as I said, it's the unknown ones. You've got some of the best training partners there, and I'm sure as you grow and, as I say, get into the UFC, you'll have more training partners as well. Maybe end up in America training with some of them for a fight, like for a couple of weeks. You hear of and things like that.
Yeah. I thought of that, but really and truly,
it's expensive.
Yeah, that's what's keeping me here, really.
We've got great fighters here, though, man.
Yeah, we have great fighters, but not everyone wants to work with everyone,
Fair enough, man. But I tell you what, as I said, something's definitely going right for you. You're doing the right thing. You're getting wins. You're getting, as I said, when you're winning, you're getting very dominant wins, and it's great to see It's great to see you're still going. Because I remember watching you on late night TV on, I think it was Bravo, BAMMA was on or something like that. Was it? I can't remember. Was it Channel 5? I can't remember what it was now. You know what I mean?
Spike. There was Spike. There was
it Spike?
There's Channel 4, ITV4, sorry.
That was the ITV4, wasn't it?
Yeah, ITV4.
Because I think you're on the main card of the obviously your fight with Brazier. That's the one I remember the most. Yeah, man. That's like one of the first times obviously I saw your fights. Unfortunately, obviously, but no, man. But I said for me,
no, that fight was a good fight, man. It's a very good
man.
fight, but it's a very controversial fight, man. You know, it's to me and to my team, we've won that fight, man. It's a close fight, but there's no way you come and take, you know, the title of a champion who's taken obviously taken the title and defended the title with 2 finishes as well, and then come and take the title off the champ with a split decision, you know. And it was about a lot of politics at the time, but like I said, I don't even want to talk about it. That's the past.
Yeah, man.
So,
you're in Cage Warriors now.
Exactly.
The Cage Warriors is where you're going to win that belt. That's it.
That's it.
That's it, mate. That's what it's all about. Cage Warriors belt.
They got to give it to me, though. They got to give it to me. It's not up to me. If they don't want to give me that shot, then it's not up to me, man.
Who else are they going to give it to, though? Really? You know?
Yeah, they're trying to give me other fights, but we ain't gonna take that. We only want to take the title fight, and that's it.
Yeah, so, win that title fight, and then look at people like Jack Shaw and Dalby. You know, you'll be off, mate, joining them.
Yeah, that's the aim, man.
Yeah, we need more British fighters in the UFC. They're all retiring, like Bisping, and Jimmy Manu is retired now as well. Dan Hardy, he's still in it, but he's not as active, obviously. Things like that. So yeah, mate. And Ross Pearson's now gone. So yeah, mate, we need more British fighters like yourself. We've got people like yourself. We've got. I know you're from France, but we treat you as a British fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I don't know. That's the problem. That's what like Cage Warriors keeps doing it, and they're like,
shall I stop doing that?
Oh, the French man. I keep telling them, like, I've started MMA in the UK. Most of my fans are UK fans. The French lot find they obviously my close friends knew that I was fighting from a long time, but the actually French fans, MMA fans, I've only heard of me recently, you know. So most of my fans are UK fans. You know, I think I've got more. Well, I wouldn't say I got more UK fans than French fans, but never enough the same amount, man. So every time they keep saying the French, like obviously when I fought Tim Barnett, they put a post saying UK vs France, and I messaged them saying, you can't be saying that. It's not UK vs France. It's Tim Barnett vs Alex Lahore, because I also represent the UK.
Did they change it?
Well, it was an Instagram post, so.
Oh right, okay, sorry.
It only lasted 24 hours, but yeah, well I keep trying to tell them, but it seems like they don't really want to hear what I've got to say. They don't really care. They do what they want. So it's up to me to kind of put it out there. And which is why I always come with the flag. That's why I made the new flag with the free flag with the three flags in one. Obviously representing the Ivory Coast, representing France, and also the UK, and stuff like that, man. And I always say it, you know. I always trying to put the free flag everywhere to show appreciation, you know. And yeah, show that obviously I can represent free country, and I will represent free country. And if you like it, then yeah, thank you very much. If you don't, then that's up to you. That's your problem, because I'm still gonna do it. I'm still gonna represent the free countries, you know. Like I saw a few things online where I came out with the British flag, and someone commented that, "Oh, tell him to something like, get that flag off his shoulders or something like that." And I was like, "That's sad, but there's nothing you can do about it. I'm still gonna be wearing it."
Quality. I was looking at the flag, to be fair. I was thinking, what's that? I was trying to work it all out. Then I clocked the French, the UK, and then obviously I knew it was one of the African countries. I didn't know which one it was, unfortunately. But no, it makes sense now, mate. What a great idea as well. Why is someone going to moan about that?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a worry sometimes. It must be one of those youths out there. Definitely.
Yeah.
No worries, man. I'll tell you what, right? I know you've literally got training in about 10 minutes' time. I know you're nice enough to be sitting outside your gym right now and talking to me, so I really, really appreciate that. And
Yeah.
as, as you know, man, I've been watching you for a long time, so it's been a pleasure to talk to you on like personal level as well. Really, really enjoyed it. But what I want to for you is give you the opportunity to give a shout out to any of your sponsors, coaches, training partners, and anyone who helped you to get to where you are.
Yeah. Thank you very much for obviously the opportunity to get me on this what
No
is it, a
problem.
podcast? Is it a
Podcast,
podcast?
man.
Can we call
Yeah,
it a
man.
podcast? Kind of, yeah, all right. On this podcast and um giving myself the opportunity to kind of express myself and say what I gotta say. Yeah, and I would like to thank all my sponsors, um, Pitbull West Coast, um, obviously um, my coaches, um, everyone that helps me train. So my wrestling coach Rahim Mudaresi, um, my boxing coach. I'm gonna keep him in the dark.
Yeah.
But yeah, my boxing coach. Obviously my Bushman brother Pierre Noah, who's been with me from the start. You know, from like my first title fight. Yeah, he's been there and he's always there. And obviously this is my main coach, the main man that I train with. And yeah, big thanks to him. You know, he's been there helping me. My strength and conditioning coach, Anna Maria. She's a Slovakian lady, man. She's a beast, and I've been working with her for nearly a year now, and trust me, the evolution and the change in my body and in my strength is, I was strong already before, but now it's like, it's so much better, man. When you got actually someone that knows what they're doing and they know the human body properly and how to get you stronger, it's so much. It makes a lot of difference, man. I want to thank also Hot Pod Yoga, they're one of my sponsors. So if any of you like to do yoga, go check them out. You know, they've got an app. They're quite everywhere around the UK. Yoga is a sport that I recommend to any of you fighters. You know, any of the fighters. It helps with like injury prevention and obviously keeps us flexible. It's important to be flexible, especially when we grappling and obviously getting our body twisted all the time.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
Also, a massive shout out to the MMA therapist for looking after my body. You know, he looks after my body once a week. I go and check him out, tell him where my body hurts, and it just gets me ready for the rest of the week. Also, my osteopath, Rebecca, from Back and Beyond, up northwest London. She looks after me as well once a week. And yeah, same thing, man. Look after my body, make sure that I'm ready to perform at my best for the week ahead. And yeah, everyone else, all the other sponsors that I forgot, there's few sponsors. Can't really remember at the top of my
That's all
head,
right, man.
but everyone that's been supporting me, all the fans, the UK fans who've been there from day one, from my UCMMA day, from my Fury days,
Yeah.
the amateur days, and yeah, all my French fans, all my African fans, and thanks to you again for the opportunity to be on this, and thanks to all the promotions that I fought for the exposure and for being able to let me show my skills on this stage. And obviously, at the moment, I'm on Cage Warriors, so thanks to Cage Warriors for the opportunity. And yeah, hopefully soon you see me in the UFC.
Yeah, man. Hey, and you know the world's built on bloody social media now, so let people know where they can follow you on social media as well.
Yeah, man, I'm on all the platforms. Twitter at Peak Alex, easy to find. Instagram Alex the Kid MMA one. What else? Facebook Alex Lore the Killer Kid. Find my fan page. Easy. yeah, I'm there. I'm there. So don't be shy to ask questions. I'm a real person. So if you got anything you want to ask, you ask me. I'll reply. As long as you're not rude, you get a good reply. If you're rude, you might not get no reply.
Yeah, no trolling, please. That's it, mate. That's it. And I encourage everyone to check out some of Alex's fights if you haven't seen them all. Look at some of the fights from the BAMMA days, even the Fury days. He's saying from his amateur career, they're all out there.
Yeah.
He's fought in multiple organisations.
All on YouTube, man. All on YouTube. You got a lot of fights on there.
No, mate, everyone check it out. And I said, if you want to watch some fights with some quick finishes, you could probably watch a lot of his fights within, I don't know, about 15, if that, about 10 minutes. You know what I mean? So enjoy that. He's had a 20-minute career. He's done quite well. So he's managed to do 22 fights. So it's pretty good average per minute,
Yeah.
Yeah, man, quality. Well, again, thank you. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to let me talk to you. Do you know what I mean? I really appreciate it. As I said, I've watched you for a while, from before I knew about MMA too much. I was watching you on the TV in the UK because we didn't have nothing in the UK. BAMMA was what we had. BAMMA was it. BAMMA was the British Academy of Mixed Martial Arts. That was our thing. So, no, thank you for coming on. You're one of our veterans of the UK scene. You know what I mean? The Americans have theirs. We have ours in the UK. BAMMA.
I don't know if I like the word veteran, man.
Okay, not veteran. What do you want? Legend? What do you want? I don't know.
I think I'm a prospect, man.
Okay, but you've had 20. Okay, a 22 fight, up and coming, first round finishing man from the UK. There you are.
That's it. That's my veteran makes me sound old, man. I don't want to be old yet.
Okay. Yeah. I feel anyway. Brilliant, man. Well, I'll tell you what, you've got 6 minutes to get in that gym, I think, haven't you? So,
yeah, I'm literally going to take me a second to get there. I'm literally right next to it, so yeah.
Cool. No, mate, it's been a good laugh talking to you, mate. I really appreciate it. And I'll tell you what, we've definitely got to talk again in soon. We'll keep in touch and we'll chat again in the near future, man.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. Thank you very much.
No, I appreciate it, mate, and I can't wait to hopefully again be at one of your fights backstage in the press room and have another chat with you. It'd be great, mate. With a title,
yeah, I
hopefully.
can't wait as well, man. Yeah, with a title around my shoulder and my waist, wherever I'm gonna put it.
Just get them all. That's it. Cool, man. Have a great training session and great speaking to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
If you've liked this podcast, be sure to subscribe on iTunes. We're live every Sunday at 8:30 PM talking MMA. Go to facebook.com/martial arts chat, give us a like there, and follow us on Twitter @martial arts chat.